Today on The Best Years. Meet a man who traced his family tree back to the 1600s. And find out how the Ocean County Library can give you the tools so you can do the same. A dedicated teacher and musician, this harp lady shares her talents and love of music. If you're in the mood for a real Valentine's story, you'll see one of endless love expressed in over 100 envelopes. All this and more today on The Best Years. And now from Ocean County College, here's Sandy Levine.
Thanks for joining us today on The Best Years. I'm your host, Sandy Levine. It's February and love is in the air. We have some inspiring features that will touch your heart. When it comes to love, none runs deeper or stronger than a love of family. It prompted Harry Morey to journey through the past and trace his roots back more than 300 years. Harry, welcome to The Best Years.
Thank you.
Harry, what inspired you to trace your roots?
I wanted to find out more about the Moreys. I'd always heard about the Ellis side of my family and how great they were, and I just wanted to find out who my family was.
So what are some of the most interesting things you learned during your research?
That the Moreys were exciting, and I found I had a sister that I never knew I had. The Moreys were in the Revolution as well as the Ellises were.
And tell me the story about learning how your family came to this country on a ship.
Well, my original ancestor came over on the True Love in the 1600s, and the ship's log that I had seen showed that he was in chains at the time that he came in.
And your wife was adopted as a child, and you decided also to trace her family. What did you find out?
Well, I found out that she had siblings in Connecticut, and I managed to get through to one of her brothers, and from there on we have since then met with 8 of them. 3 have passed away since.
So that must have been really exciting for her because she never knew her family before that. And then
That's-
they all got together?
That's one of the interesting things about genealogy, is to find your family that you never knew that existed.
What are some other interesting documents you came across? I mean, you have tons of stuff that you unearthed.
Oh, as I said, I found that I had a stepsister and who had a daughter who I have corresponded with, and I also found out that my father went to jail for writing a bum check in 1912.
It's amazing what you can uncover by doing your research. And how does one go about this? We're going to talk about this a little bit later in the program today, but what would you say is the key to being successful at this?
Well, the thing is to be persistent and to have a great desire. I mean, you have to be, you have to realize that you may find out things you don't want to find out.
And what are the ways that people can do this now? It must be easier now with the internet than when you first started. How did you first start?
Well, I first started by looking in telephone books and just sort of writing letters out to people that were in the telephone books. And then I went on to the computer, which back in those days was the Commodore, but now it's pretty fascinating. You can go on Google just now and pretty much find out who you are.
And you also said some of your ancestors fought in the Revolutionary War and also the Civil War?
Yeah. Well, the Ellis side, Garrett Ellis fought in the Revolution, and on the Morey side, it was Benoni Morey who fought in the Revolution. He was a gunner's mate that went from New Hampshire to Monmouth, fought in the Battle of Monmouth.
Why do you think it's important to trace your family roots? What can one learn about oneself by doing this?
Well, actually, there's 2 things. One is you can find out some of the health problems that you may wind up with, and the other is just the simple fact is that some of your attitudes might be, I found out that none of us have changed. We've all been, I'm just the same as the guys were back in those days.
The Moreys got in trouble?
Oh yeah, in trouble, always opening the mouth at the wrong time, and yeah, always rebels.
Well, we're so happy that you could share your story today on The Best Years. Harry Morey, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Now, later we'll show you how to trace your own family tree. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this brief message.